when we're dreaming and the prefrontal cortex goes offline, and the Simon and his story, or the Charlie story goes offline. First of all, the implication therefore is that if it can go offline, but we stay aware, albeit as, the Queen of England or whatever it may be, that means the Charlie story and the Simon story are not our fundamental identity, our fundamental
Very
reality.
good point.
That's part one. And then part two would be, didn't they do the fMRI study at the Max Planck Institute?
That's right.
And Max Planck is the guy who said that he views consciousness as fundamental. And I know we'll have to get into definitions of these words, but consciousness is fundamental, and that matter is derivative from consciousness, which is another really nice serendipity.
That's and I had never noticed that. That's very cool, and no one's ever pointed that out before. I really like that. So the second part, yes, absolutely agree. That's super cool. Your first statement, this is interesting. So it does prove that the story of who we think we are is simply illusory. And yet, think of how many dreams you've had as the Queen of England compared to how many dreams you had as Simon. The vast majority of our dreams, we are ourselves. We're acting, we look like ourselves. The people that we know are in our dreams, or from our past are in our dreams. We're kind of doing stuff as us. And you think, well, how does that work if the prefrontal cortex is switched off? Well, because the dreams are based on, in large part, stuff from our memories, right? And we only have memory of being ourselves. So most of the dream content is still based on this illusory story that we have told ourselves about who we are. But once you're lucid, you can then really flip that on its head. Partly because in a lucid dream, and this is quite a lot of the stuff you do in the Tibetan Buddhist practice, you can transform yourself into other things. And I mean, sometimes it's Buddhas and stuff like that. But one of the coolest things I ever did was I just transformed myself into the body of a woman. And this was really interesting because I felt completely different. And I looked down and I was in a female form. And it really made me question. I was still having this awareness that, okay, my body's asleep in bed. I'm Charlie having a lucid dream. But my Charliness is now a woman's body. And in that moment, I had this sense of like, well, who's Charlie? Because right now I'm having this experience, but I'm having the experience through a body that is not my own. And then from going to a female body, I then completely got rid of my body and was just a point of awareness in the dream. And then it got even weirder because I was like, oh, well, who am I now? And then I realized I'm everything because I'm in my dream. So it's not that Charlie was located in the male body or the female body he transformed into. Charlie, in a lucid dream, you are the dreamer and the dreamt. In the lucid dream, you're the you. Like if I have a lucid dream about you, I'm both me in the lucid dream and I'm Simon in the lucid dream, and I'm the tree that stands between us, and I'm the leaves on the trees, and I'm the air that blows through the leaves in the trees. If you really want an experience of oneness, have a lucid dream. It's there. Like you really, in a lucid dream, you get a realization of what these mystics are talking about. Now, of course, the real kicker is to have that experience when you're awake, so to speak, in waking reality. And I'm yet to have that. But the lucid dream seems to be a great way to practice.
Yeah, and that experience in the waking state, that is what anyone who's into non-duality points to, is that the idea that Charlie, who I'm speaking to now, is separate from Simon, is actually an illusion. And that's quite obvious, or not necessarily quite obvious, but you can recognize that in the lucid dream because it's obviously all within your mind. But non-dualists just scale that up.